Hey guys, welcome back to Mindful Knits. I'm Solly, and today we're going to be diving into a great beginner-friendly project, the Single Crochet Washcloth. Not only is it also a great way to practice your crochet skills, but also these are very practical for everyday use around the house. Let's begin by taking a look at what is inside our beginner's kit. So inside our beginner's kit, we have 4 balls of cotton yarn, one 5mm crochet hook, and one plastic yarn needle to weave in your loose ends at the end of your project. So now we can pick a color and we can get started. For our project today, I've chosen the Soothing Sea shade, and we will be needing our 5mm crochet hook and plastic yarn needle that comes in our beginner's kit. And one additional thing that you will be needing for your project is just a pair of scissors. So now we are ready to go ahead and begin with our washcloth. To begin, we will need to make a slip knot for us to start chaining our project. When making a slip knot, just make sure that you are leaving enough of a tail for you to weave in your ends afterward. So just for a reference, this is how much of a tail I would be leaving in for mine. Go ahead and just grab that point here in your yarn, turn it over, make a loop here, and pull through to make that slip knot. So within your loop here, you're going to go ahead and insert your hook and just give it a little bit of a tug to tighten that loop a little bit. So you want to make sure that you have enough space for it to slide freely on your hook, but not too loose that it's creating a large hole. There are multiple different ways for you to hold your crochet hook and your yarn. For a frame of reference to show you what I like to do, and probably you will develop your own comfortable way of holding it as you get more comfortable with crocheting. But to start off with, what I like to do is I like to take my ring finger and my pinky, insert the yarn in between those two fingers, and this is for your tension control. Bring it over the middle finger, under the index, and over the index finger. So this will give you the index finger is giving you the height that's required for you to complete your stitches, and the pinky and the ring finger is giving you that tension control. And the tail end of the yarn, we're not going to be worrying about this until the very end, and that is when we weave it in. So we're going to go ahead and hold on to that first loop with our thumb and middle finger just to give ourselves control. And we're going to take our yarn and we're going to work our first chain. So to chain it, we need to insert the hook underneath that working yarn on our index finger. Yarn goes over, so this is called a yarn over in crochet terminology. And that's our first step. So the crochet hook goes under, yarn goes over, pull through the loop, and that's your second chain. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. So now we have 4 chains completed, and we're going to continue in this manner until we have 21 chains. So now we have our foundational 21 stitches completed here. So now we are ready to start building on the first row and work our single crochet stitches. So we're going to go ahead and take our yarn, hold it in the same position that we've been, and we're going to go ahead and take our hook and insert it into not the first chain that the current yarn is coming out of, but into that second to last chain. So we're going to insert our hook into that top loop of that second to last chain. We're going to yarn over, pull it through that loop, and now we have 2 loops on our crochet hook here. We're going to yarn over again and pull it through both loops. And that's our first single crochet stitch completed. We're going to go ahead and continue until the end of the row doing the exact same things. So we're going to go ahead and insert it into the second or third top loop here. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through. One more time. Through, yarn over again, pull through. So we're going to continue this until the end of the row, and I will meet you guys back at the completion of the first row. Okay, here we are at the end of our first row. And at this point, do not worry if your work is curling, it is turning, it looks a little loose in some areas. That's completely normal. As we begin to build on our stitches, all of this curling will get corrected. So don't worry about that too much right now. I've got 2 more stitches left to complete in my first row. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over again, pull through, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. So now that we have completed our very last stitch in that first row, we're going to go ahead and turn our work over while keeping the crochet hook in the same position. Some people like to chain to add on to the height to complete that next row. I find that it gives a much smoother finish to the edges of your work when you do not chain one in single crochet. So we're going to go ahead and turn this work over, and that on the top of your work, you will see that there is that chain or braid shape that is taking shape here. So here we are at the end of our first row, and some people like to chain one here to add height to match our next row. I personally find that it gives a smoother finish to the edges of your work when you don't chain one. So we are just going to leave it as is. We're not going to do anything different after we finish that last single crochet on our first row. We're just going to go ahead and take our work over and turn it over. And we're going to continue working the next stitches. So on top of your work, you will see that there is a braid formation or a chain. And in our first row, we were picking up only one of the stitches here. We were only picking up the top loop. But now starting from our second row, we will be picking up both loops. So that first chain that you see the current yarn is coming out of, we're going to go ahead and insert our crochet hook underneath both of those loops. And we're going to yarn over, pull through, and when we have those same 2 loops on our crochet hook, we're going to go ahead and yarn over again and pull through. And that is our single crochet. So we're going to be picking up 2 stitches, 2 loops from here on out until the end of our project. So one more time, we're going to go ahead and insert our hook under both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through both. One more time, a little faster. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. Okay, here we are almost at the end of our second row. I have 2 more stitches left to complete here. So we're gonna yarn over again, pull through. And that very last stitch, you might find it a little bit hard to see, so it might be a little bit slanted or diagonal from that first row. So we're going to go ahead and insert it under these 2 loops. So we're going to go ahead and insert. This is the first one, and this is the second loop. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through. So we're not going to chain one. We are just going to go ahead and turn our work over again, like we did at the beginning of the previous row, and insert that hook into that first braid and work the same stitch. So insert, yarn over again, pull through. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. And we're going to continue this pattern until our work reaches our desired length and height. And I will meet you guys back in that final row. Here I am at the end of my final row. I just have 2 more stitches left to complete here. So 1 and 2. just pull my hook off a little bit by giving myself some slack. And you want to ensure that your work has reached the desired length and height. And you can ensure that it makes a square shape by just folding it over in half to see if it makes a perfect triangle. And now we're going to go ahead and take our scissors and make sure that we are leaving enough of a tail for us to weave in afterwards, just to err on the side of caution. Again, just a little bit more extra than what you think you'll need. You can go ahead and cut your yarn off, and you can insert your crochet hook back into that loop, and all you're going to do is go ahead and pull that loop off. So you have your two ends here, which you are going to be weaving in, and we're going to go ahead and take our plastic yarn and let's start weaving our ends in. Okay, so when we're weaving our ends in, we want to make sure that we are hiding that strand of yarn, to also securing it within the stitches to make sure that it doesn't fall off. So what I like to do is insert it in behind the V pattern here that you see. I'm just going to go ahead and insert it in between so it's not visible too much on the back nor the front. You're going to go ahead and pull this through. Not too tight that you don't want to be compromising the edges or the shape of your washcloth. Just enough here. We're not going to pull too hard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send it back behind the same V patterns here, but I'm just going to go ahead and skip over that final strand of yarn. And just make sure that I am securing it in that place. And again, not too tight that you are going to be creating a gap here, but just loose enough that it is filling up that hole. And you can cut it off here, or if you just want to be extra cautious, we can go ahead and repeat it again on the lower row. So we're going to send the yarn back behind those two stitches. We're going to go ahead and pull. Not too tight again. And let's send it behind the V pattern. I'm just going to do a couple, maybe 4. Not too tight. And send it back. Just going to go under 4 or 5. And that's it. You can go ahead and cut your tail off here with your scissor close to the washcloth. And you have weaved in one end. And we're going to go ahead and do the same for the other end. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull this off my needle. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this end here. And there you have it. A single crochet washcloth. They're soft, useful, and quick to complete, so they're perfect for practicing your crochet skills. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you're eager to start knitting or crocheting a new pattern, be sure to check out our other videos on our page. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.